Hello everybody and welcome to another Patron Playalong League Season 4 Roundup. Well, another season roundup. It's Season 4, but it's another season roundup. You get it. So if you don't know what this is on the Patreon, every 2 months there is a new season, which changes rules, provides deck building stipulations, gives challenge modes for patrons to play with, which are especially wonderful in this time where we are sort of in new content limbo. We're in May, we've just started the month of May, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be hearing about new content in the near future. But for right now, we're kind of just in that weird limbo, which is where I enjoy these Patron Play-Along Leagues, and you might too, so if you're interested, you should go support our Patreon. You can join in these leagues at the $3 tier, but after each season, I also still post the things, the rules for the previous season here. We're on Season 5 currently, but you can still play with the Season 4 rules if you feel so inclined. So, for this one, we actually went back to what was very similar to our first season, which is, we call this one the Revised Path, the Forgotten Edge of Carcosa. Participating players build decks with the following rules limiting their collection. Each deck's pool can only include cards from the following sets: Revised Core plus Return to Night of the Zealot, Path to Carcosa and the Return to, Edge of the Earth, and up to 2 cards per investigator from the Forgotten Age and its Return to cycle. So this is kind of like pretty simple. It's just a standard limited collection, right? You have 3 full cycles. Well, the Revised Core is a full cycle, but it's kind of like smaller than the other ones. So you have like 2 full cycles, the Revised Core, and then 4 cards in your deck. So 2 cards, but you can have 4 total in your deck, 2 of each for the Forgotten Age for your investigators. So one thing that we found really fun with this one was that there was a lot of ally synergy, which was especially great for our challenge. So each season there's also a challenge, and this one we have the Saving Private Earl Sawyer, who is currently covering me. Hey Earl, how's it going? How rude of you. So in this one, how it worked was that players cannot play Dunwich Legacy when playing this challenge. However, the rules for this one were that a copy of Earl Sawyer in each campaign must be included in one investigator's deck and does not count towards your deck size. Before setting up each scenario, you suit your deck and put Earl Sawyer into play. Now, you might say, that doesn't really sound like a challenge. And ultimately, yes. This is probably one of the easier challenges we've ever done. But I did enjoy it. I actually really liked it. And this one also had some special rules where there were challenge levels that players could decide of how difficult they would like this challenge to be. So on its baseline, level 1 challenge was that Earl Sawyer just needed to be in play. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. As you can see, as we get to the challenge levels here, Season Challenge Mode, Saving Private Earl Sawyer, this is where the meat of the challenge one for this one was. So, if Earl Sawyer is not in play at the end of the scenario, each investigator takes 1 physical and mental trauma. It's saving Private Earl Sawyer, not killing Private Earl Sawyer. So, Earl Sawyer was here to, be protected. Now, this is where the ally synergy was really fun. There was the Protected the Inurnic. There was the one where they're pulling the guy out of a chance encounter, which players also like, maybe I can kill Earl Sawyer and then, bring him back, right? Like if he dies, I can bring him back. We have some safety nets. And then there was also calling in favors, which was a lot of really fun kind of synergy that existed within this package, which was not actually my intention when I came to designing it. However, we have additional challenge levels where things get even spicier. So challenge level 2 is if Earl Sawyer is in play at the end of each scenario, record the amount of damage and horror on Earl Sawyer on the campaign log. It begins each scenario with the amount of damage and horror listed on it in the campaign log. If he's not in play at the end of the scenario, each investigator takes 1 physical and mental trauma and removes the amount of damage and horror recorded on Earl Sawyer in your campaign log. So Earl Sawyer can die still. Same thing, he'll die. You get physical and mental trauma. However, what also will happen with that one is that, the damage and horror on him carries over. So he's not free soak anymore. On challenge level 1, Earl Sawyer is essentially free soak to a point. However, in challenge level 2, you have to be a little bit more hesitant of when you want to put damage and horror on our good friend Earl Sawyer. Challenge level 3, however, if he's in play at the end of the scenario, record the amount of damage and horror on him in the campaign log. He begins the amount of damage and horror listed in the campaign log. And if Earl Sawyer is not in play at the end of the scenario, you lose the campaign. That's it. He's done. You're done. You're through. It's over. You killed Earl Sawyer. You failed your mission of saving Private Earl Sawyer. So, you know, that's it for you. That's it. And then we finally have challenge level 4. So each investigator takes a copy of Earl Sawyer instead of just one investigator taking him. Follow all rules of challenge level 3. So this basically means that there is, you know, 2 Earl Sawyers, the twins, the Earls, maybe 3, maybe the triplets, and maybe the quadruplets if there's 4 players doing challenge level 4. But the idea here is pretty simple. It's saving Private Earl Sawyer, not killing Private Earl Sawyer, and we want to protect the guy. I actually really enjoyed this challenge because it was very gameable, but it provided a very fun, very unique experience. Because obviously, he still takes up your ally slot, so he eats your ally slot at the beginning. So, excuse me, if you're going to be wanting to play allies, you're going to need to pick up a charisma. Because Earl Sawyer is your ally escort mission. So you'll actually probably see, I'm going to wager, in a good chunk of these decks that I'm looking at today, we're going to be seeing charismas in them. I'm just going through. Yeah, there's charismas in, like, all of them except for 1. Which makes sense, because those are on the lower challenge levels. But yeah, so this was really fun. I really enjoyed the challenge, and I hope that the patrons did too. And also found that this one was a little bit more chill compared to some of our previous ones. This one was kind of just nice and simple and flavorful and fun. So I hope people enjoyed it. Some fun stats from this season. There were 16 campaigns that were run in this season. Of those 16 runs, 14 of them were challenge runs. So that means that, like, vast majority of them were challenge runs for this season. And 9 were level 2. So level 2, going back, it's just over here. So that's the one where damage carries over. And 2 of them were challenge level 4. So spicy. Now, the investigator played the most was Vincent Lee, who has played 3 times. I think that actually kind of roughly checks out, right? Because, you know, you can heal Earl Sawyer. Earl Sawyer soaks for, if we go back to him over here, he soaks for 3. This guy soaks for 3. So, you know, having Vincent Lee have an ally that he can just immediately start healing on turn 1, I think was a really nice choice. So notably, actually, there was not many. There was a lot of single investigators for this one. Not so many, like, for a good chunk of them, like there's 2 or 3 that have a bunch. But notable ones, the other one, Finn Edwards, Charlie Kane, and Sister Mary were each played 2 times. I'm actually surprised there were less people who tried to game it as hard as I did. When we look at my deck for what I did for the Earl Sawyer challenge, I tried to game it pretty hard. So the highest earned XP for this season was 78 and 64 by Akachi and Vincent, played by Astute Dunsparce. Astute Dunsparce has now made this twice as the top XP, so congrats, Astute. You are the winner of PBG. And this is in the Forgotten played while playing the season challenge at level 2. And of the 15 completed campaigns at the time it's recording, 12 were wins and 3 were losses, which I think was a very, shows that the challenge was on the easier side, going back to, like, our first season where we had, like, almost, like, only, like, a 60% win rate with the challenge of the whole season. So with a similar deck building rules, this one was a little bit more chill and a little bit more fun. So why don't we start checking out some decks? Well, the last thing I like to do is I like to showcase decks from the season for myself, if I played with it, and then also if patrons played as well. So, once again, if you want to join in on the fun for this next one, you can do so by joining our Patreon, which you find down in the video description. So I played Dream Eater's Dreamer's Side, and I played with Finn and Keimani. Dreamer's Side was on the easier side. Because, you know, Dream Eaters is just probably the easiest campaign. But I did do this mostly because I wanted to get videos of the gameplay up on the Patreon channel. So I chose Finn and Keimani because I wanted to game the challenge as much as I could. And I chose level 4 because I thought level 4 would be the most fun. And I like the idea of both Finn and Keimani having an Earl Sawyer in their pocket. So if you look at these decks, the Finn ones, this was pretty straightforward. Finn was our clue getter. As you can see, I do have a charisma because we were playing Janae Beauregard as our ally of choice because, you know, she's just really good. And Lola Santiago, while also really good, I'm pretty sure is from Forgotten Age. And we wanted to use other cards for our splash, which I actually don't even remember what they were. But yeah, like, this is pretty straightforward. Lockpicks, Finn. We got the red clock because I had experience, and Finn can only do this one, and I mean, like, it's still good. I still like won every scenario, and this really helped me do that. What I like about this one, that's compared to the Red Clock 5, is that this one actually kind of further promotes me to wait till I get 3. With the other one, I'll more casually pull the charges off to get money and just like get another like great skill. But this one, it tempts me a bit more to keep it on because it's so action inefficient. Or sorry, card inefficient, not action inefficient. Card inefficient to just keep getting this one. So it just is like boom, 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 recharge. Boom, 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 recharge. And I really like that. Yeah, we ran the Moxies. We had the experience. And like the card's also like not terrible in Finn. Gets our foot score really high. Pickpocketing. The nice thing about Earl Sawyer, if we just I don't have him in here, but he let me just go back. I can grab the guy. Oh, 1 second. Oop. We'll get there. Let's see. Finn. Earl Sawyer. +1 foot, and after you evade an enemy, exhaust him to draw a card. So you basically just have a pickpocketing like put into your always zone. So like another pickpocketing means that we were very card positive in this one. You handle this one, calling in favors. This is me doing like kind of gaming a little bit. I would return Finn, play Janae. I would return Earl, play Janae for cheaper, and then put Earl back into play. As you can see, I brought one of those out near the end. We have sneak attack and sure gamble. Yeah, just like nice and standard Finn stuff. Nothing too crazy here. However, this Keimani deck I actually had an absolute blast with. So Combat Keimani is probably my favorite way to play Keimani. Keimani also has the juice in Dream Eaters. Keimani works very well with swarming cards because Keimani can evade and then use their ability on the swarming enemy, that's the host, and you'll discard all copies of the swarm. So, if you're looking for a really easy time, I suggest playing Keimani in Dream Eaters. Again, once again, like I was gaming the challenge here. I was really trying to just take advantage of Earl Sawyer as much as I could because I mean, what better squad to save him with than Keimani and Finn? 2 copies of Blur. This was the juice in Keimani. I could definitely see it being the juice in other investigators, but I really liked it in a Combat Keimani. It'll let me like reload my bow, let me do a bunch of like really fun stuff. As you can see, we also were using the ornate bow to fight here. Leo DeLuca was our ally of choice. I haven't played Leo in forever, but I had a lot of fun playing Leo again. Card's good. He's expensive as all hell. But as you can see with calling in favors, it's a little bit easier to game him out with Earl Sawyer. So we had a very similar plan here. Once again, I had a charisma because I wanted to, you know, play Earl Sawyer and keep him alive while also playing other allies because other allies are really nice. And then, yeah, pickpocketing, stealth, which is just like really good with Keimani as well. A few other things, we have like the backstab to attack with our foot and deal a bunch of damage. Payday to work really well with Leo DeLuca. Sneak attack because, you know, it's just really good in evade-based characters. But yeah, this is a pretty... Once again, I think this deck is a pretty standard kind of thing. But I mean, like, what else sums up a Justin deck other than standard? Now let's check out some patrons. This was Arkham Librarian, Challenge Mode Level 2. This was a win through the Forgotten Age with Carson Sinclair and Mandy Thompson. So this one was very interesting to me, and I really wanted to check this out. So this was Level 2, so only one of them had Earl Sawyer, and as you can see over here in Carson's deck, this is where our pal Earl Sawyer is. So this was a Sledgehammer Carson Sinclair deck, which I think is really fun. I love the idea of it. We have B-Cops, we have Earl Sawyer Shtaka. So this is only challenge level 2, which means that if Earl Sawyer is not in play, you're not just killed. Like, you don't lose the campaign immediately. So there's a lot of, like, wiggle room there. We have the Fang of Tirthraha, which is really nice. It's a fun card. So you get attack of 5 with this, but assuming you have other boosts as well. I see we have a combat training here. That's kind of really fun. Dynamite Blast, of course. Upgraded emergency cache. You know, just the 4 resources is really nice. 43 experience near the end. Some upgraded dodges. Police badge. Ah ha 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 ha. I love this. I love this tech. So, because Carson's going to get to Desperate pretty quick, we have both Reckless Assault and Run for Your Life. That's awesome. I think this is a really sick deck. I love the hell out of this. Paired with that was a Mandy deck, who was playing the Prophesy Profana, Eon Chart level 4. Very nice cards. Crafty as well. But we also got the Archaic Glyphs. So we have the Guiding Stones, which is for every 2 points you succeed by, discover an additional clue. But we also have the Prophecy Foretold. So if you succeed, you may automatically evade an engaged enemy. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Which I know, as we're going to get to the notes, because some patrons put in notes for the stuff that we have. There was some synergy there that worked as well. Logical Reasoning, I imagine that's going to be used for healing. I mean, discarding tarot cards is also obviously very good, but I do know that there was a lot of trauma that our good friend Carson accrued from this, so just something that's, a thing. And then we got No Stone on turn 5 as well. Hiking Boots, Crafty, I love it. It's, this one's pretty normal. I would say this is a pretty standard kind of Mandy build. It is with the taboo list, so it has to be 50 cards. I love it. I love it. I love this Carson deck, though. I like the tech here with this. So let's see some comments from Arkham Librarian. Earl's fragile sanity did not survive Shattered Eons. Or Aeons, rather. Carson ended the game with 4 physical and 5 mental trauma. That means, leaving the end of it, Carson had 1 sanity that he could have taken before he died and 2 meat damage. That's crazy. So Mandy first evaded Alejandro with the Archaic Glyphs, so Carson could swing with his level 3 Sledgehammer to take him out in 2 rounds. That's really cool. That's really fun. I love that, because then he'll stand up, engage him. Yeah, that's really cool. All right. Next up, we got Butthead, Edge of the Earth, Challenge Mode level 4, Tommy Muldoon, and Charlie Kane. So this one also has the two Earls. And I also there's a little bit of gaming as well. We got some Charlie Kane in here, which I imagine is very good with an ally and a start. And it's also Edge of the Earth, which is also, has partners. So Tommy Muldoon, let's check out this deck, see some choices. Machete, Survival Knives. This is their return to. I think that's a great choice for Tommy, obviously. Cyclopean Hammer, Becky. So, it looks like there's no set weapon plan. It's just, obviously what we draw first, and eventually we would love to replace it with the hammer and just start swinging. Brandon Cathuga for an off weapon. I love it. You'll love to see it. Backpack to help find your stuff. Beat Cop, Guard Dog, Medical Student. Notably, 2 Charismas down here. Also, a Stick to the Plan. And, so pretty normal stuff. An eCash 3, again. And then Ever Vigilant, which is obviously really, really good with Stick to the Plan. Lucky and Sweeping Kick. Yeah, I'm just going through. This one's, I think, once again, pretty standard, right? I like the idea of just, dropping a bunch of everything, getting attacked like crazy. Healing up with the bandages, obviously great synergy with Beat Cop, but also Guard Dog, right? And then obviously, just swing with the big-ass hammer. Or protect yourself with Survival Knife. Yeah, nice and simple Tommy Muldoon. Charlie is saving Earl. What was the Tommy name? Tommy and Earl. I love it. And then Charlie is saving Earl. So, I think the Charlie one's really fun because, it's kind of like taking the challenge and being like, I don't care about your rules. I'm making my own goddamn rules. So, Magnifying Glass, Divination, Eon Chart. So this one's the Clue Getter, which makes sense. Tommy was the fighter. Janae Beauregard as well. Oh yeah, notably, I actually did not play with Taboo. I don't remember why I chose that. It's something that now, I kind of flip a coin at the start of, a campaign, and I kind of decide, am I going to play with Taboo or am I not going to play with Taboo? And actually, honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I highly recommend you do the same. It's sometimes nice to just say, pooh, screw the Taboo list. I'm going to be doing it, going like this and just having some fun. I do, it seems like, you might be like, but Justin, you're just playing with the cards where they're a little bit less easier to play. Nah, it's fun. It changes it up. It changes how you can, look at things and how you can, you don't always just putting now, when I'm always putting a scroll of secrets in my seeker deck. I just always do that. But yeah, this seems pretty sick. Leo DeLuca, Lola Santiago, which looks like 2 of the Forgotten Age cards. 2 charismas, again, makes sense. It's Charlie. You know, you want your allies. More protecting the Inernic tech, which is really nice. It's very good with this one, as I mentioned earlier. Shortcut lucky. High emergency cache. Yeah, I love it. I mean, obviously, the emergency caches are really good with the supplies on stuff like dynamite. You know. And then, like, what did Tommy have? I mean, none of those have supplies, but there is, like, good stuff that can happen there for that. Yeah, I love it. Let's see some comments from Butthead. All right, so Charlie loves the free ally to start with. Combine that with the Edge of the Earth partners and its Chef's Kiss. Running Protecting the Inernic since it's on theme and can save Private Sawyer. Hell yeah, it can. And got a very sketchy opening with Charlie in Heart of the Madness Part 2. However, I managed to pull off the W with Tommy 2 horror away from needing to kill Earl. Earl survived on both teams with 1 horror on him on Tommy's side. Hell yeah, let's go, Earl! You did it, baby. You made it. Because that's the thing, right? Like, even in the final scenario, Earl needs to be in play at the end, or even if you win, you lose. So you got to protect Earl. Last one we're looking at here, I wanted to look at this one. I wanted to showcase one Vincent Lee deck, and I chose this one because Astute already got their glory with their Vincent Lee as being the XP earner. So I wanted to look at this one. This is a true solo Vincent Lee from Chuck through the Circle Undone. No challenge mode. So we have... So this one is not about gaming like Earl. This one's not about using Earl to your advantage. This one's more just kind of like seeing the choices that existed in this card pool. So Gravedigger, Shovel, and Machete for weapons. Because this is also true solo, you're going to need to be getting clues as well. Luckily, Vincent's a very good flex investigator. His stat line's really nice for that kind of thing. So B-Cop, Janae Beauregard. Notably, this is also without the taboo list. I think that's kind of sick, you know, getting 5. And being able to move enemies away in solo, I imagine, is really nice. Or, like, even being able to drag a clue away from a location you don't want to be on. Like, is it, like, say, for example, there's, like, if you fail, like, especially because this was Circle Undone, you can remove a clue off a haunted location onto one without, like, a haunted location, or without one with haunted, or, like, one that you can have a lower shroud and easily achieve. I like that. First aid, bandages for healing, charisma. Also charisma here. No Earl Sawyer, but notably we got B-Cop and Janae. So obviously getting both of those out in a flex is really good. A test of will. I suppose Vince can play this, can he? I suppose he can. Call for backup. I love that. You know, a lot of synergy here. I don't even just like it because it was a card we spoiled, but it's just because, you know, I think there's a lot of fun stuff here. Because you got Gravedigger Shovel, you got red, blue, green. The only thing you're missing is purple. And purple is just healing a horror, which is not really what you want. Like, you want the damage is obviously great. Clue, damage, dealing damage, not healing. I said damage twice, and moving. Yeah, that's all kind of sick. Emergency Cache, the level 2 version. Love this card, by the way. And then we got Lucky Toe-to-Toe. Yeah, just Inspiring Presence, obviously really good. Notably not upgraded B-Cops, but using it with Janae. Very nice. I love it. Let's see some final comments here from Chuck. In the thick of it, really helps Vincent use his ability even from the first scenario. Toe-to-toe works really well with Vincent as well, as he will just heal the damage from the attack and get a skill card from it. Yep, I think I agree with all that. I think a Vincent Lee deck, it's one of those things where I still have those at issue within the thick of it, where it's kind of just like an unnecessary card in the grand scheme of things. Because it's like a auto-include at this point. So if there is ever a moment where In the Thick of It has like an inherent synergy with an investigator, I like that one more. You know, it feels more worth playing that way. And I think Vincent's a great user of In the Thick of It. Not one specific gameplay, but I was amazed at how much each game I had at least one card with 2 wild symbols, mainly due to the bandages. The bandages were really an MVP card, as to let the damage through, then heal for 1. Hell yeah, bandages in Vincent Lee is really good. I think obviously with Vincent Lee, you want to be using and getting an on the mend every turn. And I think if you do that, you're very likely to win the scenario. So it's like one of those things that if you are using your on the mend every turn and getting one back, that's the goal, and that'll probably lead you to a victory. All right. if you're interested and you like this, you should try out some decks and play last season's challenge, or you can join us for our current challenge on our Patreon right now. Again, link in the description. And a huge thank you to all of the patrons down below for hanging out, for playing, for having a good time, and, you know, for continuing into Season 5, which we currently have live right now. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. We'll see you tomorrow for another Arkham video. We love you, and as always, GG's.